Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about the Uniswap Governance Token and the fact that it is inching ever so closer to the top 10. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So this might be only the second or third video I've done on the Uni token. And the reason back then that I said that I held this token was because I expect in general for more volume to be flowing through the Uniswap exchange as more and more people are onboarded into crypto and start speculating on altcoins. So I would expect that one to grow. And also I just wanted some exposure to decentralized finance, some more exposure. Of course, some of the coins I talk about have that exposure, but I wanted some more exposure to DeFi. And I thought that this token was one that helped give me some of that exposure. So what has happened, I mean, the last time we talked about Uni, I think it was like $2 or $3. So it's been quite a while. And since then, it has been on a phenomenal run, amazing run. And I don't really know how high this thing's going to go before it starts to come back down to earth. But it has been on an incredible rally. And what's interesting is we've spoken before about the Bitcoin trend. So you guys know that I hold Polkadot, and I'm very bullish on Polkadot for the entirety of the market cycle. But we could look at DOT and say, it launched around August or September. It came all the way down into Q4 and then back up in January. Okay, and the reason we talk about that is because if you go back and look at Ethereum, when it first launched, it did something very similar. It launched in August, trended down through January, and then went back up to here by the end of December or by the end of January, and then came back down, and then ultimately pushed through in February. So that's what Ethereum did. DOT is basically, so far it's basically just accelerated 5 years. Obviously, we don't know if DOT will continue to go back up. But the funny thing is Uni against Bitcoin looks to be doing something very similar itself. So a lot of these coins are repeating fairly similar patterns, right? I mean, Uni launched in September, it trended down through Q4, and then it started going up by the end of January. Maybe it's getting to this point here. And if history is any indication and the market were to repeat, obviously there's a good chance it won't. But if it did, then maybe it would imply, it coming back down for a while and cooling off and then going back up later in February. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see if that happens. There's really not a whole lot of data to go on with the Uniswap token, just because it hasn't been around that long, just like DOT, which is another one we cover on the channel. But again, as I said back then, the reason that I hold it is because I think that there's going to be more interest in the Uniswap exchange, and I like the idea of getting more exposure into the world of decentralized finance, especially considering the world we live in now, where you have retail investors pumping up GameStop, and then platforms making it so you can't buy it. It's a good narrative, right? It's all about the narrative. And you can understand there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to be happy about that, and they might seek out alternative solutions. And some of that could be the decentralized finance, where someone can't just unilaterally say, you know what, we're not going to let you trade this, right? So I think that I think in the grand scheme of a market cycle, I think we're still relatively early on, but of course it could be very choppy along the way. In terms of looking at Uniswap's short-term moves, I think there's a decent chance it stays overall bullish as long as Bitcoin is not get much further down than say 30K. So I'd be watching Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's coming back down to 30K and then ultimately going below and potentially going back down to say the 20-week SMA, then there's a decent chance that the Uniswap token is also going to drop down, because altcoins in general will bleed a lot. And when that happens, people will probably become a little bit less interested in trading crypto. And if that happens, then I imagine there will be less interest in Uniswap in the short term anyways. And as a consequence, the Uniswap token would there's a decent chance it would also lose value if all that were to come, cascading back down. But I mean, if Bitcoin comes down, it's not, I mean, if Bitcoin were to say come back down a 30 or 40% drop or something, it's not like Uni would be the only one dropping. Basically, most of the entire altcoin market would likely drop with it. So this is certainly one I like. I want to follow this cycle, and it's one that I only have probably a couple of videos on, just like Polkadot. But as I've said before, in general, I like getting, some coins that don't have, a history where they have these mental barriers from prior market cycles that they have to get past. I like just accumulating them. Obviously, I'm not accumulating DOT at $20, but I like accumulating them when it's relatively quiet, in this area, and then waiting the pump to come to you, and then you find yourself in a position of strength, and if it does come back down, right, who cares? Because the idea is, well, we had months to accumulate. So if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also, check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. We also do have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. That'll wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, turn on alerts. I'll see you next time. Bye.